I think it's just about a decision. You have to make a decision. Is this important to my business or is it not? Because if you think it is and you don't do it, you've already failed. And I'm just being honest. You may not like to hear that, but that's the truth. Here's the reality. The reality is, in this industry, we are notoriously bad at capturing data at the top of the funnel and attributing it all the way down to the bottom of the funnel. And so that really inhibits our ability to capture meaningful data.
So I'm here with my man, Sam May, area manager down in Southern California for AWM. And today we're going to cover some technology. Obviously, tech, AI at the forefront of conversation here in the mortgage industry. But Sam's going to dial us in and tell us exactly what's up. So Sam, welcome.
Thank you.
Great to see
Let's
you.
get into it.
Yeah, here we go. So, big picture. When you look across the industry, what do you really see in terms of technology and the impact that it's making in the business today?
I think more than anything, I'm seeing a massive movement towards technology, which historically the industry has not been very adaptive to or really very innovative in. And so for me, that's really exciting being techie myself. But I think, how different companies are maneuvering and where their focus is really interesting to see. It's sort of exposing a lot of the philosophies within different organizations. So I think we're in an exciting time, and I think it's only going to accelerate over the course of the next couple of years.
So, sales versus manufacturing, that's a huge issue right now. Where
Yeah.
do we invest our time, our money? What technology should we focus on in your mind? Should we be more concerned with processing and the underwriting of a loan or the sales side and helping our loan officers really win more deals?
And I love this question because I think that you can do both, and I think that the industry is doing a little bit of both, but there's definitely an emphasis on one side versus the other. And uh, when it comes to the manufacturing part, it's necessary, right? Long term, we're going to see the cost of loans come down as a result. That cost savings will flow through to the consumer at some point. But what I've witnessed is the emphasis for most of the larger IMBs, and where a lot of the focus is for um, most of the leadership in the industry, is on the manufacturing front,
Yeah.
and they're just trying to drive the cost of the loan down, which I applaud. But the amount of infrastructure that they're trying to replace with technology in order to accomplish that, that's a big job. And I think it's got a long tail. It's proven already to be very expensive. And so the other side of the coin, which is strangely not focused on enough, is on the sales front. When leveraging tech can save loan officers time, produce more results, whether it's in the form of conversion rate, improved awareness, and sort of top of funnel lead generation, you know, it's not as prevalent. And there's a lot of tools out there right now that can serve that purpose and should be invested in.
So funny you say there's a few tools out there. There's one that we like very much at AWM, and obviously we push that out throughout the entire organization. I think those that have embraced HomPwr, right,
Yes.
on your hat there, have found it to be really a differentiator for them in their business. Let's talk a little bit about that.
I mean, that's the whole point, right? As a differentiator, it serves multiple purposes, but by and large, the objective is to take a complex issue like a mortgage loan, like a strategy around financing for a mortgage loan, and simplify it in a way that a consumer can actually comprehend.
Hmm.
And I think what people miss a lot of times, we just sort of assume that it takes a long buying cycle for a consumer to buy a house. The question is why? Why does it take so long? We all know that homeownership is good, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's common knowledge,
it's the
right?
American dream.
Yeah. So what's the barrier? Why, and it's sort of, it is the most expensive purchase a consumer will make by and large. So the fear surrounding that, and sort of this mystery around how to do it in the best way possible,
Hmm. Hmm.
in a way that fits their lifestyle, that, in my opinion, is the secret sauce. And each loan officer has their own philosophies around these things. Whether you're like, no, I'm a points guy, drive that rate down, save money monthly, versus I'm fee adverse, as sort of an example. There are a million different ways that we sell differently. We have to communicate the why behind that strategy in order to produce those results. for a consumer in a way that they can comprehend is
Yeah.
historically been very time consuming.
And the one thing I like about your product is that it solves all those problems for all of those people. So
Yes,
whether you're a points guy or you're not, you're able to create a display, consumer facing display that really shows them what their options are. And I think that's really what people want to know. No one
yeah,
wants to be sold really anymore, right? They want to understand their options, and also I think they want to do it in a way that they can digest and absorb in their at their own pace. So talk a little bit about how some of
totally.
your people have utilized HomPwr to create that environment for the consumer.
Yeah, I mean, so first and foremost is at the top of the funnel, we use it as a way to share with the consumer how it will feel like if they work with us. Hey, here's how I present information. Here's a way that you can, sort of get a glimpse into what that relationship looks and feels like, and my approach. And we do it with video, and we do it with the presentation tool as a backdrop to say, look, most people don't understand down payment amounts or loan purchasing power and all the other things that go along with it. This is what we're going to explore. This is how we're going to explore it. So that's step one, very top of the funnel. And then as we get deeper in the funnel, whether they're shopping us against our competitors, we can show them a way to compare those numbers in a more comprehensive manner. It's easier for them to make decisions. And then I think video is really the background or the backbone, rather, of the entire platform. It gives us a way to communicate authentically, transparently, and concisely. And I think that's a real big missing component here. Consumers don't get everything that we're telling them the first time.
Very true. Very
They
true.
need to be able to absorb that again and
Yeah.
again and again to really feel good about what decision they're making.
Mhm.
And so when we do it with video, we make our best presentation ever. Because if it's not, we just delete and re-record, right?
Yep.
And
Love it.
then they can watch it back again and again until they have a better understanding.
Yeah, and one thing in speaking to some of your people, that is a fact. That open rate of that video and seeing somebody go back to it multiple times only proves your point, right? It's
Right.
it's a complicated process to a certain degree. We as originators, I think, underestimate that to the typical borrower out there. They do it a few times in their lifetime. We do it every day, so
Right.
this really does break it down for them, and I think make it very digestible in the way people are comfortable doing that today.
Yes, I completely agree. And I think too the production side of it. So when we talk about manufacturing of a loan,
Yeah.
well, there is a sales component to manufacturing a loan, right? And the whole reason that I created this software was during 2020, it was taking me way too long to absorb all the inflow of business that was happening at the time. At the same time, deliver at a high level for the consumer. And so you have a choice. I either take fewer clients or I serve them at a lower level, and neither was an acceptable option for me.
Yeah.
And so, what used to take me 2 to 3 hours, first a couple hours to both research, prepare the numbers in a way that somebody might actually get, and then secondly, spend an hour on the phone with them,
Yeah.
walking through line by line and all the justifications.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking 3 hours, and now we've got it down to a point where it's a 10 to 15 minute job. It's absorbed way better, and now it's a 5 to 15 minute follow up call versus 3 hours.
What you've brought scale to
Yeah.
kind of an unscalable situation, right?
Yes.
Without the tech. But let's get into the details
Yes.
about this.
Yeah.
Why is it that more loan officers are not using products like this today? What's keeping them and holding them back?
And so much of it is just fear. You know, oh man, I
Is
think
it
we
fear
have
of change?
I think it's fear of change. I think it's what's we don't want to abandon what has worked for us,
Okay.
even when the results are dampening, and we have to move on to what's new. But I think the biggest wake up call for us as an industry um, is looking at how fast the entire globe has adopted AI.
Hmm.
You're talking about 700 million users using large language models, right? I mean, if that's not a sign of the times, we have to do the same. We can't just rely on old, antiquated ways to conduct business, because as we do, you will continue to lose market share. Like,
You
period.
know, I think about this the first nice TV I had was, standard definition, right?
Yeah.
Now, if it isn't 4K, I don't want to watch it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why isn't this the same as it
Yeah.
relates to the mortgage industry? You're absolutely right. So the key is then, as a loan officer, how do I make that transition and that decision to adopt something that's new and different?
Yeah, so I think it's baby steps, right? We have a lot of loan officers that are not comfortable on video yet, that don't want to add that component to their quotes. And I said, great, let's start with what you are comfortable with. We'll ease our way into it. So just instead of sending an Excel spreadsheet and an essay length email, let's move to a quoting platform that's modernized and still be able to convey those things in a more effective manner. Then next we'll move to video voiceover, right? Instead of you just narrate your way through the quote
Yeah.
just like you would over the phone, and we'll send it to the consumer in that way. And then eventually we'll get them to open that camera lens up and
Yeah.
smile and do the full thing.
One
But
step at a time. Hey, I'm
yes,
a perfect example of that. I'm sitting here talking to you
yeah.
a year ago. I probably would not have even thought to do so. So yeah,
You know
you
what?
can teach old dogs new tricks.
Same. I mean, I'm telling you, I just 2 years ago, I could not. There was no way I would be on camera.
Yeah.
I was allergic to it, and now I'm much more comfortable. Still not very, but good enough.
You're doing great.
Yeah.
What's
Thanks.
the learning curve here for someone like me? I'm hesitant to make a shift. Like you said earlier, this is what I know. This is what's worked for me. What's the learning curve for me? How do you sell me that this is easy?
Yeah, I think we've studied this. We have over 10,000 quotes that have been produced on our platform in the last year, which is
Wow.
fantastic. And
Yeah.
so what we've learned is that after three quotes, the loan officer, their time to produce goes from about 10 to 12 minutes down to like 2 or 3. And so that is clearly there's a sort of a big tipping point.
Yeah.
And so we've shifted our mission to how do we incentivize them to create three quotes, right? So that's more from the company side, from the loan officer side. I think it's just about a decision. You have to make a decision. Is this important to my business or is it not? Because if you think it is and you don't do it, you've already failed. And I'm just being honest. You may not like to hear that, but that's the truth.
It's the truth. Can I improve my close rate?
Yes. So,
That's huge,
yeah,
right?
oh, it's
Tell me.
huge. I mean, so I'm reluctant to. There are a lot of companies, our competitors, our peers in the space make a lot of claims.
Okay.
Here's the reality. The reality is, in this industry, we are notoriously bad at capturing data at the top of the funnel and attributing it all the way down to the bottom of the funnel. And so that really inhibits our ability to capture meaningful data. So I don't want to BS and tell you that you're going to get, 78% improvement on, but here's what I can say, and this is a real statistic. One out of every three of these quotes that's sent with a video gets a what we call a raving response. And that means that either the realtor or the client send a response that includes words like, wow, amazing, I understand, these kinds of things that obviously are making an impact.
Yeah.
Secondly, I will say that my own personal team, the branch that I run in Solana Beach, we have grown 3x in volume in a time that the industry has slowed and volume has decreased. And it's not because we added body count. Like this is just using these same strategies and tactics and deploying them in the real world.
So if you're looking for a way to make your people more successful, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
it absolutely works. And the fundamentals here, I think, are really important. And this is also, you mentioned the age of AI and kind of, how things have changed for the industry. I look at the entire in businesses in general in terms of either being relational or transactional. And I think the transactional loan officer is dying. I think that the relationship loan officer is thriving.
Yes.
And this software was developed to support the relationship driven loan officer. The transaction ones, yeah, they can use it too, and they'll get some, however far. But I think as we get further and deeper into AI, the the consumer is smarter. they see past the BS. They don't want someone to transact with them. They want a guide. They
Mm,
want a Sherpa,
yeah, yeah,
to come and show them the way. And
yeah.
that's really what it's all about.
Well, and going back to your original comment about this is how we want to be perceived in the industry, this is how we want people to see us when we put a product out. And that initial interaction is really like the old saying, you only have one chance to make a first impression, right? And that
Yes.
really does it well. Two things I want to touch on. Number one, the referral partner part of it, right? I didn't
Yeah.
even think about that,
Yes.
right?
Oh man.
So obviously, if I'm a real estate agent, I'm referring loans to you or somebody on your team, and this is the product that they put out. Obviously, that makes me look pretty good. What do you see in that?
1000%. I mean, that's a very risky proposition to have a, doesn't matter if it's a financial planner, if it's an attorney, if it's a real estate agent, they're putting themselves out there every time that they offer us as a referral. And
Hmm.
so we always, we know we have to shine in that moment.
Yeah,
But how do you demonstrate that?
yeah,
And that's sort of the entire
yeah,
goal of this platform,
yeah,
is to say, no, this is how this is how your clients are going to be treated. This is how we're going to drive decision with them. This is the level of care that we're going to offer them. And you put that on full display. And this is why I love to use a tool at the top of the funnel as well as all the way through.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Point number two. Someone once said to me, how do you, or the question was asked, how do you best communicate with the consumer? That's
Yeah.
ever changing, right? We've seen
Ooh,
that. It
yes.
was a phone call, it was an email. Now it's a text message, I think, maybe
Yeah.
a DM,
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But the point that this person made was we communicate with the consumer the way they want to be communicated with, right? And so I think what your product, HomPwr, brings to focus is exactly that through the video, through the multiple
Yes.
displays. Talk to me just a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, right now, you have to meet them where they're at, and the fact is that in recent months, since GPT sort of arrived on the scene and robo dials have increased even more,
Oh, yeah.
phone call. I don't know the proper terminology here, but phone answers are down 80%. 80%.
I'm
People,
not picking mine up.
I'm not either. I mean, I'm not, and I hate to say it, but yeah, I screen everything.
Right.
But yeah, so we do. We need to meet them on social media in their DMs. I mean, my mother-in-law, who's over 70 years old, is on Instagram. Like we can communicate there. People are there.
Yes. Yes.
Text messages, obviously. I think the whole world prefers to text rather than pick up a phone call. Emails still effective. A lot of people are trying to shy away from it. Still works. Just make it a good email.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we do need to meet them where they're at. I think it's critical. And same, we need to adapt. If we're not adapting, we're dying. And that, I mean, it's
Yeah.
just that
Yeah.
simple. Yeah.
So before we wrap this up,
Yeah.
obviously, I got to say, if you're at AWM and you're not using HomPwr, you need to be. This is a tool that will help raise your game. And at the end of the day, it's going to make you better at what you do and put more money in your pocket. Sam,
That's the
thank you,
goal.
man. I'm looking forward to working with you
Let's
to
go.
continue to improve
Yes.
awareness and get this thing going, man. We need to get more LOs doing this. So
Amen to
thank you.
that. No, thank you, Chris.
All right,
Appreciate
let's
you.
go get some lunch.
Yeah, man, it's sold.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was great.